So, this podcast is titled From Non-Binary to Radfem. When I was introduced to the idea of gender identity, it made me think I was a man because I didn't like what's considered here in the USA to be femininity. Like, apart from loving animals, being compassionate, and stuff, kind of shy too, I am considered pretty masculine. I have opinions. I do call people out on their bullshit a lot. I like clothing from the men's section. I am attracted to women. Just a lot of things. No. And I think part of it was, I consider myself as a person. This means that, I must be a man if I am a person, an individual with their own thoughts, who doesn't need, to be controlled or whatever. Like, everyone needs some help controlling themselves probably, but, you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, the idea of gender identity. Like, I thought it's actually quite misogynistic, I think. So, yeah. Another thing is, I had a lot of transgender friends, and they are and were very nice people for the most part. Yeah, like, we all were pretty much either gay or mentally ill or both, or traumatized. I'm like a mix of the three, thank you, yeah. And so we got along very well, and since, I felt really like, this makes total sense for them too, all this stuff. Like, also going through past trauma, a lot of, like, my personality and how I see myself in the world had changed, and I was going through a bit of an identity crisis because of this, because, like, it almost gave me imposter syndrome, like, I had been replaced with, like, I was actually secretly a parasite inside of someone else's brain or something. Like, it was interesting, so I thought it must have meant I was trans. I also didn't like having boobs. Like, I learned a lot of women actually don't like having boobs, because they're kind of awkward, and, like, just how men view them, how they're viewed for having them, like, is pretty messed up. And yeah, just a lot of things. I was also scared of my female body, didn't like getting periods. I didn't like the idea that I could get pregnant, potentially, and that stuff. So, yeah. I decided I was a man. I am a person. I want to be in control of my own body, etc. It just made sense that I thought I was a man. So I was wearing a chest binder. I passed pretty easily. I can easily make my voice pretty deep. And I am like 5'11", so I passed as a dude a lot of the time. And, like, I was in a welding class, and being one of the guys there, I did not like it. I didn't realize how much they hated women and homosexuals, and yeah, and, like, it was scary that if they noticed I wasn't like an actual man, and that I was actually like just and that I was attracted to the same sex, that would have been very bad. So I dropped out, and, like, I stopped considering myself one of the guys, because if guys are like that, I want no part in it. And I'd already been traumatized by men, but I was told that, men aren't really like that, like, and, like, I agree, there's some probably good men, like, I don't know, Vladimir Lenin was pretty good, I think. But yeah, so, it just, yeah, and so then I identified as a non-binary lesbian. And I got made fun of quite a bit for that, and like I don't blame people. It was interesting because a lot of the time I'd look like a butch woman, but so like sometimes I'd get called he, sometimes I'd get called she, and I went by they, them, and Caesar. Yeah, neo pronouns. Ridiculous, but I did that, and yeah, it was complicated too because I dated lesbians and bisexual women and stuff, but also like I was never attracted to gender really. Like I like feminine, I like masculine women, I like women, and I like a lot of different looks for women and stuff like, and so like sometimes I'd accidentally like get attracted to trans men. I was never interested in trans women, no, really, like, yeah, and so that is the next part with the cotton sealing stuff. The first time I learned that, like about it when I experienced something like that, it was in a Facebook lesbian group, and, someone had posted, you know, some lesbians like dick, some lesbians have dick, you know, you're transphobic if you don't like it, and then they're like, yas queen, girl dick is so sexy, yeah, lesbians like dildos, they must like girl dick too, and shit. I don't like dildos, I don't like being penetrated or anything, but still, like, that idea was terrifying to me. Like, I thought I escaped the pressure of not having sex with a man ever again, because like when I was young I was introduced to sex stuff pretty early. I lost my virginity young, and I admittedly fucked a lot of people. I didn't understand at all why I didn't like fucking men ever. Didn't understand what was wrong with me. Like, what, you know, it just, yeah, I was so relieved to find out that, oh, this means I am a lesbian. I can tell you I'm a lesbian. I might get harassed by men for that, but at least I can stand my ground and say that my sexual orientation is not for them, you know? And to just be told that we have to accept dick again, that it doesn't necessarily mean I don't like dick. And so this was just a terrifying thing. But then I heard a lot of things about how, I don't know, I was just kind of, like, you get told a lie enough that you start to believe it. I never even liked dick after that either, but I became more accepting of this reality and said, oh, I like women as a gender, and just, yeah, it was really bad, and so, yeah. And then the kink stuff, this one's kind of short, but I was, like, pressured into trying to, get into BDSM and even BDLG and shit, and, like, a lot of times when straight men, they, if they're not, like, trying to fuck you as a lesbian, they might still try to be your friend and get you to view other women in the way that they do. Like, they'll be like, oh, I bet you could turn her, gay and stuff, and, like, they'd try to show me porn where they just objectified women and shit. I never think of women that way. Like, I think of women sexually plenty, but I don't view them as objects, if you know what I mean. Like, and so yeah, I just avoided straight dudes and bi dudes and stuff. And a lot of gay dudes are pretty misogynistic too, admittedly. Yeah, but, and so, and then the kink thing came on, and it felt very similar, actually. Like, they were trying to get me to watch porn, and they were telling me that they wanted to call me daddy and shit, and, like, that made me kind of uncomfortable, because like just thought of this meaning I was their daddy. No, I'm not their daddy. I'm not, yeah. I was trying to be their partner, not their daddy. It just kind of grossed me out, and yeah. But I didn't want to get called vanilla either. And so I just accepted that, and like personality wise, I am a top, and like 90% of the time. And so I just decided, okay, I'm a dom, I guess. Yeah, I will just, yeah, it was pretty bad. And so, yeah, I felt a lot of shame within for not liking dick, for not liking to objectify a woman in that way, for yeah. And then I realized also, like being more and more in the trans circles and stuff, I was finding more in common with females, no matter their gender identity, than I was males, no matter their gender identity, because, like, yeah, it made me realize more and more it's not a gender. Like, you can have all these personality traits, and male socialization exists under patriarchy, and this kind of stuff, just like the idea that a man can just start identifying as something that's not a man, like, that kind of makes them just ignore their privilege, that makes them think that they should just get to be misogynistic and stuff. And so, yeah. And then I saw a lot of trans men just hating on themselves for being a woman, and I think I was also, yeah, for a bit at least, because what I was told what meant to be a woman was very different than how I see it now. And then, like, I tried to bring up that, actually, I don't like dick. I tried it. I've been traumatized by trying it and shit. But they just kept gaslighting, and, like, a common reaction when a trans being, when you tell a trans being that you don't like dick, they say, oh, I hate my dick too. We don't have to have sex. Let's be girlfriend and girlfriend. Or, oh, we can have sex without you touching my dick. Like, how? And also, are you assuming that my sexual orientation is just passive like that? That, I don't like pussy? Like, I enjoy it. Like, I'm not going to get into detail because that's kind of bad, but, I actually do enjoy sex. Most women do. Like, they just don't enjoy it with idiots who won't, and they have their own sexual orientations. Sex isn't just for men. Yeah, I don't know how many times I have to go over this. Sex isn't just for men. And so, yeah, they were all gaslighty. They were being creepy. And, like, I even heard someone reply to me saying, when I said, oh, I actually have genital preferences, they were like, oh, cool, I met a lesbian once who preferred dick, and that made me peak a tiny bit. And then also, how, like, I was trying to talk about my experiences being a female growing up that way, and trans women would say, oh, but we're more oppressed than you. Even though, like, I think there is oppression being done on trans women, but I don't think they're women, and it isn't, like, it's not the same. It's more like homophobia towards gay men, is how I'd call it, if it's specifically targeted for being transphobia. And yeah, that's just how I'm gonna leave that there for now. But then I started, hate following some radical feminists, some gender critical people and shit. And, like, the more I followed them, the more I was kind of intrigued, actually. Even though I was trying to hate them, they, like, really spoke to me. They spoke to me about my issues. Like, I felt like, actually, this understands me better than this whole idea of gender identity, of all that shit. Like, gender abolition, women's liberation, like, healthy lesbian sexual places, you know? Like, that would have been, that's a dream. Like, this place isn't hateful. This place is for people like me. And for all females. No matter their sexuality, their race, their gender identity. Like, when this is for us, it is the right thing for us. And so, yeah, I was closeted about being a radfem for a few months. Like, I tested the waters a couple times. Posted some radfem posts on my TRA account. The one that got me in a bit of trouble, like, most of them were just kind of milquetoast and stuff. Like, they didn't, yeah, the Traws just took it as something that supported them for some reason. Like, they think gender abolition is for them too, but I hate to break it to them, but queer theory and the idea of gender identities does not go along with gender abolition at all. It makes nobody's gender identity valid. And so, yeah, I was just being a closeted radfem, and I'd ask a few kind of salty questions. I got the post I got in most trouble for was either saying, actually, as a female, like, from what I've seen, I think I'm more oppressed in this society by patriarchy than any trans woman I know. And I think it was true. Like, I think homeless trans women will be more oppressed than me for class reasons, but not for like, yeah. So I tested the waters a bit. That was, and then the other post was saying maybe we should stop actually assuming that people like Mulan and Joan of Arc and stuff are trans, because that's kind of sexist to assume because a woman accomplished great things that must make them trans. Like, and they weren't considering that they were being oppressed for being women, and so that, yes, they had to pretend to be men, but that's because they couldn't have done it if people knew that they were women. Like, Joan of Arc got burnt because, yeah, they found out she was a woman, even though she helped them drastically and was very strong. So it is very, like, and then they just got so mad at me for that post. Like, they're like, well, maybe it's because trans men want to know that they existed and stuff. Like, it's just, yeah. And so eventually I was just like, fuck it, I am gender critical, I don't think this. And then immediately after, like, everyone, like, I had an account with like a shit ton of followers on Instagram, and I was so canceled. Like, I was constantly being sent death threats, rape threats. I still get them sometimes. And, like, people who I'd considered friends hated me. Even like an ex-girlfriend hates me for it and stuff. An ex-girlfriend who I've known for a while now, and that was pretty sad. So yeah, I lost a lot of my friendships. Not all of my friends know about my beliefs, and I intend to keep it that way because I want to keep them as friends. It's just sad because I want to discuss these things with them because I think it actually would benefit them. And so yeah, it's just very hard to figure out. And also, I just don't want my friends to think I hate them or that I'm against them. Like, I don't hate all trans people. I am friends with trans women and trans men, and I think they can be very good people. I was trans before. I know I have on and off dysphoria. And yeah, I almost even had the surgery, but that didn't work out. And I'm grateful now that it didn't. But, so where am I? And so yeah, those reactions. But then, when I got more involved with the radical feminist community and stuff, and also, I got some positive reactions from that because people were curious about why I went from non-binary, one of the biggest TRAs in the planet, to just being a gender abolitionist, gender critical, radical feminist. And most people who asked about it, I explained a lot to them. It took a lot of effort and care to tell them about my beliefs. Most of them are in agreement with me, but they have to hide the fact that they agree with me because they don't want to go through the shit I went through. And I do not blame them in the slightest. That shit's rough. And so yeah, that was basically my journey to gender critical feminism. I hope to cause more people to think about what's really going on here, think about liberal feminism ruining actual women's liberation. And yeah, this show, to explain all my political positions, I am a radical feminist. You can tell from this episode, and probably from my name and icon picture, you can tell that I'm a communist, specifically a Marxist-Leninist, is what I am. I am also 19 years old, female, lesbian. If you have any more questions about my experience or my thoughts on this, let me know. I might make more videos, or more parts to this one. Not videos, episodes, sorry. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this first episode. Hope to see you again. Bye.